Hello, everybody. This is Sister Mary. We are continuing in Genesis. I am reading out of the Interlinear Bible. We will be in chapters 21 through 24. Chapter 21 of Genesis. And Jehovah visited Sarah as he had said. Yes, the Lord did to Sarah as he had spoken, and Sarah conceived and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the time appointed, that which God had spoken with him. And Abraham called the name of the son whom was born to him, whom Sarah had borne to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, a son of 8 days, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was a son of 100 years, when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made me laugh. For me, all who hear will laugh with me. And she said to Abraham, Will Sarah suckle sons? For I have borne a son to his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast on the day Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, he whom she had borne to Abraham, mocking. And she said to Abraham, Drive away this slave girl and her son. For the son of the slave girl shall not inherit with my son, with Isaac. And the thing was very crushing in the eyes of Abraham, account of his son. And God said to Abraham, Let it not be crushing in your eyes because of the boy, and on your slave girl. All that Sarah says to you, listen to her voice, for in Isaac your seed shall be called. And also I will make a nation of the son of the slave girl, for he is your seed. And Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, and he gave them to Hagar, putting them on her shoulder and the boy, and sent her away. And she left and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water from the skin was finished, and she put the boy under one of the shrubs, and she went and sat down across from him, about a bowshot away. And she raised her voice and wept, and God heard the voice of the young boy. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of the heavens. And he said to her, What ails you, Hagar? Do not fear, for God has heard the voice of the boy, there where he is. Get up, lift up the boy, and hold up your hand on him, for I will make a great nation of him. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she filled the skin with water, and gave drink to the young boy. And God was with the boy, and he grew up, and he lived in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he lived in the wilderness of Parah. And his mother took a wife for him out of the land of Egypt. And at that time Abimelech and Phicol, the general of his army, spoke to Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. And now swear to me, here by God, that you will not lie to me and to my sons, and to my heir according to the kindness which I have sworn to you. Do to me and to the land in which you have lived. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech on account of a well of water which the slaves of Abimelech had seized. And Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this thing, and also you have not told me, even I have not heard, except today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave to Abimelech, and both of them cut a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said to Abraham, What are these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, You shall take the 7 ewe lambs from my hand, so that it may become for me a witness that I dug this well. On account of this, that place is called the Well of Sheba, because the 2 of them swore there. And they cut a covenant in Beersheba. And Abimelech and Phicol, the general of his army, rose up, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. And he planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called on the name of Jehovah, the everlasting God. And Abraham lived in the land of the Philistines many days. Genesis chapter 22. And after these things, testing Abraham, God said to him, Abraham, and he said, Behold me. And he said, Now take your son Isaac, your only one, whom you love, and go into the land of Moriah, and there offer him for a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will say to you. And Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his ass. And he took 2 of his young men with him, and his son Isaac. And he split wood for a burnt offering, and he rose up and went to the place which God had said to him. And on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from a distance. And Abraham said to his young men, You stay here with the ass, and I and the boy will go on to that place, that we may worship, and may return to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it on his son Isaac. And he took the fire and the knife in his hand, and the 2 went together. And Isaac spoke to his father Abraham, and said, My father. And he said, Behold me. And he said, See the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will see the lamb for himself for a burnt offering. And the 2 of them went together. And they came to the place that God had said to him, and Abraham built there the altar and arranged the wood. And he bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Jehovah called to him from the heavens and said, Abraham. And he said, Behold me. And he said, Do not lay your hand on the boy, nor do anything to him. For now I know that you are a fearer of God, and you have not withheld your son, your only one, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a ram behind him was entangled in a thicket by its horn. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place, Jehovah will see, so that it is said until this day, In the mount of Jehovah it will be seen. And the angel of Jehovah called to Abraham out of the heavens a second time, and said, I have sworn by myself, declares Jehovah, that on account of this thing you have done, and not have withheld your son, your only son, that blessing I will bless you, and multiplying I will multiply your seed, like the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is on the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, as reward in that you have obeyed my voice. And Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham lived at Beersheba. And after these things it was told to Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she also has borne sons to your brother Nahor, Uz his firstborn, Buz and Kemuel, and the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, Jadaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel fathered Rebekah. Milcah bore these 8 to Nahor, the brother of Abraham, and his concubine, whose name was Reuben. She also bore Tebah, and Gaham, Thahash, and Mechah. Chapter 23 of Genesis. And the life of Sarah was 127 years, the years of Sarah's life. And Sarah died in Kirjath-arba, which is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went in to mourn for Sarah, and to weep for her. And Abraham rose up from before his dead, and spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, I am an alien and a visitor with you. Give to me a possession among you, so that I may bury my dead from before my eyes. And the sons of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, Hear us, my lord. You are a prince among us. Bury your dead in the best of our burying places. Not a man of us will withhold his burying place from you, from burying your dead. And Abraham rose up and bowed himself to the people of the land, to the sons of Heth. And he spoke with them, saying, If it is your desire to bury my dead from before my eyes, hear me. Entreat for me Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give to me the cave of Machpelah, which he has, which is in the edge of his field. For full silver let him give it to me among you, for a possession of a burying place. And Ephron was sitting among the sons of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the ears of the sons of Heth, to all those entering the gate of the city, saying, No, my lord, hear me. I have given the field to you, and I have given the cave that is in it. Before the eyes of the sons of my people, I have given it to you. Bury your dead. And Abraham bowed before the people of the land, and spoke to Ephron in the ears of the people of the land, saying, Only if you would hear me. I have given the silver for the field. Take from me, that I may bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying to him, My lord, hear me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between me and you? And bury your dead. And Abraham listened to Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver of which he had spoken in the ears of the sons of Heth, 400 silver shekels, which passes with the trader. And was certified the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, before Mamre, the field of the cave which was in it, and all the trees which were in the field, in all its borders around it, to Abraham for a purchase before the sons of Heth, with all entering the gate of his city. And after this Abraham buried his wife Sarah at the cave of the field of Machpelah. I'm not sure how to say that. Before Mamre, which is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And the field was certified, and the cave which was in it, to Abraham for a burial possession from the sons of Heth. Genesis chapter 24. And Abraham was old, going on in days, and Jehovah had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said to his slave, oldest in his house, the one who governed in all that was to him, Please put your hand under my thigh, and I will cause you to swear by Jehovah, God of the heavens and God of the earth, that you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanite, among whom I dwell, but you shall go to my country and to my kindred, and take a wife for my son, for Isaac. And the slave said to him, Perhaps the woman will not be willing to go after me to this land. Shall I indeed bring back your son into the land from where you came out? And Abraham said to him, Take heed for yourself that you do not take my son back there. Jehovah, God of heaven, who took me from the house of my father and from the land of my birth, and who spoke to me, and who swore to me, saying, I will give this land to your seed. He shall send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife from there for my son. And if the woman will not be willing to go after you, then she shall be clear from this my oath. Only do not take back there my son. And the slave put his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham, and swore to him concerning this thing. And the slave took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and he left. And all the good of his master were in his hand. And he rose up and went to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nahor, And he made the camels kneel outside the city, by a well of water at the time of the evening, the time that women go out to draw. And he said, Jehovah God of my master Abraham, I beg you, cause her to meet before me this day, and show kindness to my master Abraham. Lo, I am standing by the well of water, and the daughters of men of the city are coming out to draw water. And let the girl to whom I shall speak this, Please let down your pitcher, that I may drink. And she will say, Drink, and also I will water your camels. Let it be her you have designed for your servant, for Isaac. And by this shall I know that you have chosen or shown kindness to my master. And it happened before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah came out, and she who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, the brother of Abraham, with her pitcher on her neck. And the girl was very good of form, a virgin, a man not knowing her. And she went down to this well, and filled her pitcher, and came up. And the slave ran to meet her, and said, Please let me sip a little water from your pitcher. And she said, Drink, my lord. And she hurried and let it down on her hand, and gave drink to him. And she finished giving drink to him. She said, I also will draw for your camels until they have finished drinking. And she hurried and emptied her pitcher into the trough. And she again ran to the well to draw, and drew for all his camels. And watching her, the man kept silent in order to know if Jehovah had blessed his way or not. And it happened when the camels had finished drinking, the man took a golden ring, it weighing a half shekel, and 2 bracelets for her hand, then of gold their weighing. And he said, Whose daughter are you? Please tell me, is there room for us to stay in your father's house? And she said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor. And she said to him, Both straw and fodder are plentiful with us, also a room to stay. And the men bowed and worshipped Jehovah. And he said, Blessed be Jehovah, God of my master Abraham, who has not left his kindness and his truth with my master. I being in the way, Jehovah guided me to the house of the brother of my master. And the girl ran and told these things to the house of her mother. And Rebekah had a brother, his name being Laban. And Laban ran out to the man to the fountain. And when he saw the ring and the bracelets on the hands of his sister, and when he heard the words of his sister Rebekah, saying, So the man spoke to me, then he came to the man, and he saw him standing by the camels at the fountain. And he said, Come in, blessed of Jehovah. Why are you standing outside? I have prepared the house and a place for the camels. And the man came into the house. And he unloaded the camels, and gave straw and fodder to the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the feet of the men who were with him. And food was set before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have spoken my message. And he said, Speak. And he said, I am the slave of Abraham, and Jehovah has blessed my master much, and he is great. And he has given to him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and male servants, and slave girls, and camels and asses. And my master's wife bore a son to my master when she was old, and he has given to him all that is his. And my master caused me to swear, saying, You shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanite, in whose land I live, but you shall go to my father's house and to my family. And you shall take a wife for my son. And I said to my master, Perhaps the woman will not go after me. And he said to me, Jehovah, before whom I walk, will send his angel with you, and prosper your way. And you shall take a wife for my son from my family, from my father's house. Then you shall be released from my oath when you have come to my family, and if they do not give one to you, then you shall be released from my oath. And today I came to the well, and I said, Jehovah God of my master Abraham, if you will, I pray, prosper the way in which I am about to go. Behold, I stand at the well of water, and when the virgin comes out to draw water, and I say to her, Please let me drink a little water from your pitcher. And she says to me, Both you drink and also I draw for your camels. May she be the woman whom Jehovah has designed for my master's son. Before I had finished speaking within my heart, even behold, Rebekah was going out, her pitcher on her neck. And she went down to the well and drew. And I said to her, Please let me drink. And she hurried and let down her pitcher from her and said, Drink, and I also will water your camels. And I drank, and also she watered the camels. And I asked her, and I said, Whose daughter are you? And she said, Bethuel's, the son of Nahor, whom Milcah bore to him. And I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her hands, and I bowed and worshipped Jehovah, and I blessed Jehovah, God of my master Abraham, who had guided me in the true way to take for his son the daughter of the brother of my master. And now, if you are going to do kindness and truth with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me so that I may return. I may turn to the right or to the left. And Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing has come from Jehovah. We are not able to speak to you good or evil. Behold, Rebekah is before you. Take her and go, and let her become the wife of the son of your master, as Jehovah has spoken. And when the slave of Abraham heard their words, he bowed himself to the earth to Jehovah. And the slave brought out vessels of silver and vessels of gold and garments, and he gave to Rebekah. And he gave precious things to her brother and to her mother. And they ate and drank, he and the men who were with him. And they stayed the night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away to my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the girl stay with us perhaps 10 days. Afterwards she may go. And he said to them, Do not delay me, for Jehovah has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the girl and ask of her mouth. And they called Rebekah and said to her, Will you go with this man? And she said, I will go. And they sent away their sister Rebekah and her nurse, and Abraham's slaves and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, Our sister, may you become myriads of thousands, and may your seed possess the gate of their haters. And Rebekah and her maidens rose up, and they rode on the camels and went after the man. And the slave took Rebekah and went. And Isaac had come from the gate of the well of the living one, my beholder. And he was dwelling in the land of Negeb. And Isaac had gone out to meditate in the field as it turned to evening. And he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted her eyes, and she saw Isaac. And she quickly dismounted from the camel. And she said to the slave, Who is this man who is walking in the field to meet us? And the slave said, It is my master. And she took the veil and covered herself. And the slave told Isaac all the things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into the tent of his mother Sarah. And he took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother.